Hey everybody, and welcome to Joker's Wild Side Review. Today we got a great one. I am Lobo.
I'm Jax.
And like I said right there, we got a great one. We got Invncible Season 2, Episode 4. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah. This is a better title than this. What is episode...
Episode 2, I lost my virginity to a fish.
Jesus Christ. That's a great title. But yeah, this is... let's just throw it out there. They're going to have a break right after this.
Yes.
As they mentioned. As you mentioned, they said they're taking a few months off and coming back with the rest of the season 2, right?
Yes. I don't remember if it is January or February.
Okay. Let's see if I can bring it up here real quick. It does not say. But regardless, they're having a few months break here.
It'll be 4 episodes arrive early 2024.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the review or the page that I was reading, it said January towards the end of it.
Okay. So we're taking about 2-month break here from Invncible. But when it comes back, we'll be right on it again. But for the meantime, let's talk about this episode. It starts off with music and...
Well, no, it starts off
flashback,
with...
flashback, where he is being the snot out of Mark, Invncible, and then where he flies away.
Yeah, Omni-Man.
Yes, Omni-Man flies away. And it shows a little bit what he went through. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it showed some interesting sides to it. That he was actually feeling something from what he had done to his son.
Yes.
And what he had done to all of the people that he has been saving lives for the past 20 years.
Or so. Yeah, definitely.
So it's very interesting that he was able to come back to these emotions. And he was to the point that he was going to just fly into a black hole.
Yeah, that was dark. But then there's another ship that comes by. He ends up saving them, taking them to their planet.
The Thraxans.
The Thraxans, there you go. Bug-like aliens. They
looked like ants, and I think there's a metaphor there.
Yeah, there was praying mantis.
Yeah, they referenced a grasshopper directly in the show.
Yeah, try grasshopper.
To me, they were like ants, but they also had the cloning changing ability, something or other, because they disguised themselves as the dog in episode 3.
Agreed. I mean, this part was okay. It showed a little bit of what he was going through. Then it goes into the present where we left off in the previous episode where, hello Mark, hello son.
Hello, son.
He should have punched him and then in the face right in the beginning. I don't know how else to say it.
If he did punch him, though, then it would have just ensued into a battle.
Agreed.
Because even them walking up to each other, Mark started grasping his fists. So Nolan started grasping his fists. And Invncible, he went right up to him.
And hugged him.
Well, at first he was like a little intimidation.
He was trying to get him to... That thing you do when you were a little kid, like, what?
Mm-hmm. What you gonna do? What you gonna do about it?
Yeah, all that little thing. And then hugged him. Like I said, why?
It was a little bit messy.
It was. And I get it. It's a conflict of emotions through everything.
Yeah, he's happy to see his dad, but he's also like, F you. He says F you
a lot.
Several times during this episode.
I love that part, but I think he should have punched him in the face a few times.
Sometimes the biggest hits are the emotional ones.
Yeah, fuck that. Punch him in the face. Maybe I'm just a violent guy, I guess. Or I like to see violence. But then it also... It goes into this part after with his mom that you specifically, if you want to talk about
so as we were saying, the first bit of the episode, we had Nolan flying through space, and we had this little music soundtrack. and it was showing what he was going through. And then we have the same thing with Debbie. And it's more of a somber music even, and it's just following her and her life. And one thing it did really, really well was portray the emotions of what she's going through. The part that I hated about it is we had that same exact moment no shorter than
10
4
minutes
minutes
ago or something
Yeah.
like that, at max. I agree with you a little bit there. As I also felt like, why are they doing this again? I did mention to you this would have been great after the break to come into that.
It didn't move a lot of the storyline in that episode. That's the biggest problem that I had with it. Is it did a little
to
bit.
A point. It showed that she was ready to let go.
Yeah, to move on. She's literally moving.
Yeah. So, don't know if it was necessarily to have a second one so close to the first one. That also bugged me a little bit. It was not a big deal. And then after that, it goes to a few segments that I was guessing back to back to back to back as we were looking at it, because we watched it here together today. As the moments were happening, like when Omni-Man kept told Invincible Mark, I got something to tell you. I'm like, oh, he has a son. And you're like, damn. And then when I'm going to flat rush through this real quick. And then when, what's his name? Donald goes and sees the explosion, and he starts walking to him like, he's going to find some glasses. He found the fucking glasses.
I went, damn.
Yeah. There was another 2 segments that happened that we guessed like right off the bat.
It was rapid fire.
So some of the story to today, specifically the episode, was not predictable.
Easy to read. That's a better word. I remember the other one when later on Omni-Man's trying to convince Invincible, I need you to train. We need to train. I'm like, oh, too late. And they come barging in. Yeah.
Oh, crap. Perfect time.
Viltrumites. Yeah. I almost said vermiculite. That's a soil compost thing, something or other.
I tell you, some of them might end up like compost for show. But anyways,
snapping back a little bit back, we also have a little segment with Adam Eve meeting up with Amber and the guy roommate. I can't remember his name for the life of me right now.
The gay roommate, his best friend.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either.
And they see that Eve is struggling, and they're like, we got you. And one thing that actually concerned me thinking about it now, they're like, come meet up with us. We'll do whatever. She's like, nah, I got a place to crash tonight. Goes back to that place, and we get the arm cannon guy. Blonde Cannon, I think is what his name is. Or something.
Oh, the cannon. Yeah, he ends up taking some power source.
Yeah, some core of like power or knowledge or something from Robot.
From Teen Team's old base, right?
Yes, Teen Team's old base. And it was an interesting fight. One thing that I really think that is going to change the sway of how Adam Eve is going. And I've been like having this itchy feeling that she is going to become a weapon of mass destruction. And it's okay. I haven't read it. You have.
Yeah, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I really want to tell you.
So she had the moment to go to dinner or to brunch, 9 a.m. the next day. And her fight with arm cannon guy, it made it to where she almost lost 2 civilians. And
that was kind of her fault on that one.
Yeah, it was her fault. She didn't detain the subject that she was after and went to go for the savior, even though it didn't necessarily work out in the end anyways. That we don't know about their current status, if they lived, if they died. But either way, she was already going through hard turmoil and just struggling in general. And I think that fight is starting to push her towards the edge of not necessarily no return, but losing her sanity, losing herself. And
then towards the end of that, we see her going back to her that
one of the very last scenes is she went back into her dad's house, and I'm curious to see what happens there.
Yeah. We also saw the clones make another clone, but this time with the damage he sustained from the previous episodes, have his body mutilated. You could tell who the hell the original one was.
Yeah.
And like they mentioned in season 1, there's going to be problems.
If they know who the clone is, then there's problems.
Yeah, and boy was there. One of the original was treating him like shit, having pretty much a slave. And then at the end of it,
he poisons him.
The clone poisons the original, and he's making more. So we'll see what happens there. That's funny.
There's one thing that can still happen, because the Alpha Prime, I guess you would say, the guy that had the physical scarring on his face, he was hinting at one thing that was making it very curious for me. The Mahler brothers. Well, he inched at making an army. And I'm almost curious that the clone is going to reclone himself, and there's going to be even more Mahler brothers.
Agreed.
I don't know at what stage, but I think that is going to happen. I think that we are past just 2 Mahler brothers.
Yeah, it seems like that, especially what they were building. It definitely seems like they're pushing to that. And then going back to, Jesus, I can't remember his name. Donald, Jesus, because it's such a freaking name.
Because he's just a mystery.
Yeah. Well, not that. I would remember if it was that. It was just a simple name. But he actually ends up going looking for footage of what happened there. He finds it. He first tries his, and obviously he can't get in. Then he tries, what's the main guy's name?
I can't.
The dude with the fucked up face.
The teleporting guy.
Yeah, the teleporter.
Cecil,
yeah. He does his, he gets in, he sees it, and he sees that he died. So later on, we see him in the bathroom. He stabs himself. And he's like, okay, I feel pain.
Everything's all good.
Yeah. Hold on. Look at the knife. It's bent to hell. So it looks like he has some sort of, as you said, exoskeleton, metal.
He's an android, I believe.
To a certain point.
Yeah, if you've ever seen like the movie I, Robot.
I don't think to that extent. Because he does have blood. He did feel that pain.
But so did Will Smith.
But he's not a robot. His arm is. That's it.
Just his arm's a robot?
Yeah. They never said he was.
Donald?
No.
Will Smith.
Will Smith was human, except that one arm.
I obviously haven't watched iRobot.
But yeah, so it's a little weird. He might be a clone / upgrade experiment on it. At first, I thought he had a Viltrumite blood into his DNA.
Like a little test study.
Yeah, when I saw the knife bent a little bit, I'm like, ooh, Viltrumite blood. But it might be he might have some metal skeleton in there. So that's confirms and kind of like maybe some of the thoughts we had about that. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad they did not just put this to the side. I'm glad they really put this to the forefront. And I have a feeling he's gonna turn.
There's going to be some
dysfunction there for sure.
Yes,
for sure.
And we're going to see the unlikely comeback. I'm guessing, if anything, Donald either loses his mind and ends up creating more androids of himself, and now the new superhero team has to prove their strength against Donald.
Which is, God, that's terrible. That's just fucking terrible. But
whoever what was the team?
The new
Guardians of the Globe.
Of the Globe. Galaxy of the Globe. Yeah, I do think he's going to flip out and he's definitely going to be a big bad in certain point. But then let's go back to Invincible and Omni-Man fighting as they come in. The other Viltrumites that come in to fight them. Obviously, a lot of blood, a lot of deaths. The first guy that attacks Omni-Man and Invincible gets his gut sliced open.
And then a stalagmite shoved through his body. Oh no, I just thought of something, but keep going.
We'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
But then two more come out, which is this guy that with the 80s porn stash with some Justin Bieber hairdo, I think, for me. And then this girl that you mentioned that looks like Bianca Belair with the long hair and the whipping that she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But she has a knife attached to it. Obviously looks older, but still very good features on it. But boy, do they go at it.
Oh, yeah. It is definitely a fight.
Yeah. At the end of it, Omni-Man kills the two of them. But then the other guy that with his guts cut out comes in and finishes, breaks. It looks like he breaks his back with the kick.
Yeah, he flies in and he just kicks him in his lower lumbar. And you just hear crunch, 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 crunch.
Yeah, it looks like he's paralyzed. So that's where kind of it ends off with now the rest of the Viltrumites come get him. And then it looks like the general. Do you remember the name of the general?
No, I don't remember the name of the general. But he also had a cybernetic eye,
Yes.
which I found interesting.
Yeah. But he pretty much told Invincible, you either help us turn your planet or we destroy it.
Kill a few hundred humans or we'll kill millions.
And Invincible was trying to tell him to fuck off. He just punched him dead in the face. Love that.
There's also one new constituent that might sway Mark's opinion on what he needs to do and what is right. Because now Nolan is going to be put up and sentenced to death.
Yeah.
That is the response for his crimes.
Yeah. According to the Viltrumite law.
According to Viltrumite law.
Yeah. But one thing we did not mention was when the Viltrumites came, holy fuck did they destroy a lot of those people. It looked like they were, literally, like you said, they looked like cockroaches. The Viltrumites view them as cockroaches.
Yeah.
But boy, that was a bloody mess.
I mean, one guy literally said, "This thing."
Yeah. So Nolan obviously had a kid with one of these. What'd you call them?
No, I forgot the name. It's too late.
Yeah, but with one of these alien creatures, and it's definitely frowned upon for Viltrumites. And when they find
Paraxians.
Paraxians. Yeah, that. When the Viltrumite finds out, he's like, "You had a kid with this thing." The look of disgust and the way he pronounced it is like, dude, the discrimination on that alone, so bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was all over the place. This episode was all over the place. Let's not give any predictions this one, because we talked about it a little bit on what's going on. Let's just enjoy the next episode, then we'll continue into that.
The next episode, end of January.
Yes. Let's give our grades on this one. What you think of this episode overall?
I give it a thumbs up.
Nice.
It is the weakest episode in season 2.
I agree, except the last battles.
Except for the last battles. They were almost the comeback, but it's not what I was hoping for in an episode. Not necessarily that it was filler information, because it was important information that needed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that it was poorly placed.
I think...
Unless they're using the break as a time skip.
Ooh, that'd be good. I think your thoughts specifically on the episode lay on the second emotional journey through
it just started becoming redundant, and it killed the flow of the episode for me.
In that one, I do agree. Regardless, I think this was 2 thumbs up. I think the action at the end saved it a lot. And the fact that I was able to first see what was happening, kind of.
That was funny.
Yeah. It's like every time I called it, he just turned around like, really? Cool. Damn. So, this is not the first time, like I mentioned to you, this has happened. There's a few episodes, shows I've done that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I give it 2 thumbs up. I agree. So far, it's the weakest of the episodes, but still a lot of information. We got to see more Viltrumites come up, so that's freaking great. We gotta see a little bit of the, not redemption, the guilt that Omni-Man felt, and that he's really ready to pay for. So I give it two thumbs up. Unfortunately, we do have a break coming up about 2 months, but we'll keep you posted. We will do more reviews as they come out. And in the meanwhile, we will have more things reviewing and reacting to, so we will keep you entertained as much as we can. Any final thoughts on this half of season so far?
It is, to me, a lot better than season 1, and I just really like it. Don't get me wrong, the first season was good, but just in these 4 episodes, mainly the first 3, I had an amazing time. Episode 3 was definitely like the perfect episode of any show that I ever need.
Nice.
And it's hard to follow up, and I think that's also what's influencing is I had my expectations really high, and I think that's what dropped it down. And
you talk about this episode?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
There was just the redundancy, and I was just like, you guys are doing the same thing, right again. And if it was like pinned closer towards the end of the episode,
it might have been different.
It might have been different for me, but you also couldn't put that at any better place. So
my final thoughts is the only little problem I see with this episode, which is the reason I didn't give it a middle finger up, is they had, let me try to think about it, around 4 different storylines trying to be pushed forward before this break. There was the Omni-Man Invncible thing with their Viltrumites and his son and all that. It was the Donald, I can't remember his name, Donald storyline. It was his mom's storyline, and then it was Adam Eve storyline.
Yeah.
So it was a lot happening. 5 with the clones.
Yes. So it was, the Mahler brothers.
Yeah, the Mahler brothers. So it was 5 storylines trying to be pushed through, and it's kind of hard to do that with a short amount of time, even though it was like 50 minutes.
45 minutes, I believe. 42.
42 minutes. It's hard to do that much storyline movement. So the pacing was off at certain points. But they should have pushed that towards the end, the second emotional journey, and that would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for me.
That's it for me.
Well, let us know in the comments, guys, what you thought about this episode. Let us know if there's any other shows you want us to review. We'll definitely consider it and look it up. Other than that, I've been Lobo.
I've been Jax.
And this was Joker's Wild Side Review. See ya.